Hey, this is Matt from Blue October, and you're listening to the Blues Hockey Podcast.
If I had the mic when I talked with all that.
It does help.
Oh, man. This is a train wreck. So, that was on me that time. So, Pacific Division. Before they were kind of like the other, like usually the Central is considered like the Gauntlet Division.
Yeah.
And the Pacific, okay, there's good teams out there and stuff, but now you're looking at, wow, there is...
The West is just monstrous.
Dude, I know.
Central and Pacific.
Yeah, it's ridiculous on what they've done out there.
Well, like I was saying before we started, I feel like somebody forgot that they had acquired a bunch of skill points, and then all of a sudden they're like, hey, let's beef the hell up out of this Western Conference. And then just completely...
Yeah, so almost every team acquired
somebody.
Something.
And not just somebody, but somebody of consequence.
Yeah.
Like a big, yeah.
Yeah, except for Edmonton, which is interesting. Considering they have the best player in hockey.
Yeah.
Anaheim and you want to say Vancouver, but we didn't expect them to be good.
Right.
So
they're not really playing this year.
We'll start from the most surprising team, and weird to say, the Western Conference champs of last year, the Vegas Golden Knights. Right. Weird.
I want to hear what I said about them at the beginning of.
I think we all trashed them. I'll look it up.
I think we probably put them bottom of the league.
Yeah, because we're just like, they're not going to do anything. Which I think 90% of people around the league probably did that.
They opened the season, I believe, at a 5,000 to 1 odds to win the cup.
Yeah, I think if you put like $20 on them at the beginning of the year, you would have won. Was it 10,000 or 1,000?
Oh, show your head.
Yeah, you put $20.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I know that. So Vegas, out of nowhere last year, lost a couple of key guys. One to St. Louis Blues, David Perron.
Are we calling him a key guy? Dude, I guess he was a key guy for them.
66 points.
He had a career year, yeah.
But also, let's be for real. Anywhere David Perron's ever went, he's still a St. Louis Blue.
Yeah.
Like, he's a Blue.
It's the only team he's ever actually signed a contract with.
That's literally
that is 100% correct.
It's it.
James Neal went to Calgary.
People were really ticked about that.
Yeah, real deal James Neal, one and done.
Yeah, he wanted an extra year, and he got it from Calgary, 6 years at $5 million per. They did get their big center. They got Paul Stastny.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good get for them.
Yeah, 4 years at $7 million, at $6.5.
A lot of money.
Well there.
Yeah, amazingly, did not take that much of a pay cut and still got a ton of money.
$500,000?
Yeah,
that's nothing.
But I mean, just like considering he's a 32-year-old, you thought he'd be kind of like where you get like only a little bit. You wouldn't get 7. I said he get 5.
Yeah.
I can't believe I went on a date with that asshole when I was a kid. And that my dad used to coach him, and that we're the same age, and this bastard's in Vegas making millions and millions of dollars, and I'm sitting here just talking shit about him. That makes me bitter.
Yeah. You know.
Well,
where did I go wrong?
I mean, I know where I went wrong many times.
Phrasing?
Maybe a little bit.
After everything I just said, and you say phrasing to him?
I'll allow it.
I'll allow it. But anyway. Vegas finished with 109 points really well last year. They
you forgot one more pickup for them.
As I'm doing.
Oh, okay.
Technically it was traded there at the end of last year, so he's with them. So it's more of a re-signing. Ryan Reeves got a ton of money to stay there, which was very surprising. Almost $3 million.
Never thought he was going to get that much money. I really thought
2.7.
Yeah, I really thought you were going to see Reeves come back to St. Louis just because
I think I didn't think he would get that much money.
I didn't think he would get a bigger offer than he was going to get in St. Louis.
2.7 is crazy considering you're talking
for dude who played,
like I said,
11 minutes a game,
8 minutes. No, and like I said, I really like Ryan Reeves. I'm not downing him. His average is 8 minutes a game last year. Mind you, Pittsburgh was the one who kind of like raised that down.
Where did I go wrong? I keep getting the chance.
Pittsburgh was the one who kind of like raised that down. He played a lot more with Vegas. But remember, he sat in the playoffs for quite a bit and then turned into like I think middle of the second round due to injuries. He actually stepped in, did really well. So good for him. I'm really happy he got the contract because he's probably wrapping things up.
He scored more goals in the Stanley Cup Finals than Vladimir Tarasenko has.
Yeah, he had 3, I think, about 3 or 4, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so he did really well. So the big trade they made, Max Pacioretty goes to Vegas from Montreal for basically Thomas Tatar, Nick Suzuki, and a first-round pick.
That's not a bad. I mean, that's a great trade for
Second-round
Vegas.
pick, excuse me. But, yeah, real good trade for Vegas, and then he automatically re-signs 4 years at $7 million for Pacioretty. Apparently, Pacioretty and Stastny played on the same line during the Olympics and the Worlds. So Pacioretty said the reason he re-signed is Paul Stastny. He flat out said it during the training camp yesterday. I saw him do my
Hey,
research.
man, good for Vegas.
So they got a lot of veteran guys, which you just said right before this. Like, well, or maybe we were recording. Maybe I just missed that. Like, what was their plan 1 year ago?
This time
compared to now, where you're kind of going
what was
for
their
it.
5-year plan a year ago?
Yeah.
And then you'd like to see what their 5-year plan is now after the season that they had.
It's got to be drastically different.
My
Like,
gosh,
they're in it to
absolutely.
win it now.
Yeah.
I think that after their first season's performance as a team, I think that they're going to be a contender for a little while.
Yeah,
I
they're
think
not
so.
going to surprise. My thing is this year, they're not going to surprise anybody this year.
No, they're
Yeah,
not,
they
and that's for
can't.
sure.
They can't
but,
surprise us anymore.
But let's be honest. It's not like once you got a third of the way through the season
Yeah.
that you were surprising many people anymore.
True. I'll say
Aside from an occasional East Coast team.
that. Yeah.
You know, as weighted as the league is to conference and division games, okay, you put the first 12 to 20 games as no one saw this team coming. But after that, for the most part, you're playing teams that you've already played, and you're not sneaking up on them anymore. And this team really never hit a drought. I think the Stanley Cup Finals was the first time they lost 3 in a row all year.
Maybe. Or maybe at the end, I know they started to lose some at the end of the regular season, but in the playoffs, they did really well. So, like you said, they shouldn't surprise anybody this year. And then, same as last year,
Right.
after maybe a third or halfway through. They did lose some key components. They're still kind of light on the wings.
Yep.
But, like I said, getting Pacioretty and Stastny is really going to help that out. I still expect them to do very well this year. So, I don't think they're going to be number one and be
No, I don't
Crazy
either.
amount.
I think they'll come back to the pack a little
And mind
bit.
you, Fleury played out of his mind this year, and he
Oh my God.
has to keep that up for them to kind of be that way. They are missing their 2 top defensemen this year. Shea Theodore is – I don't want to mix this up. Shea Theodore is the one who – is he the one who got suspended for not substance abuse, but
I do not remember.
sorry, I have my research in front of me. I just missed it.
Was
So-
it the off-ice the
That was Austin Watson, who
That's
decides to
right.
beat women. So, and he is a general asshole. So, let's see, Pacioretty.
Did you see everybody comparing the substance abuse thing to the Varlamov stuff?
Apparently, he's trying to get back in the league, and the league's like, I don't think
They're
it's a good
like,
idea.
how can you ban Varlamov from the league, but then allow this? I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Come on,
Varlamov threw
man.
his wife through a TV, so it's a little bit different. So,
And then I had those dweebs attacking me on Twitter for what I said about Jake Allen, how he has a seasonal depression. They're like, you're making fun of mental illness. I was like,
No,
come over
I'm
here.
not.
I go, come over here. I'm going to knock your ass out.
I think everybody talked about that.
It's not. We're not making fun of
That's
it.
what I
It's
said. I go,
it's a
you know
legitimate
what?
theory, and I think there's
okay.
weight behind
No,
it.
dude, that's what I said. I go, this is what I really think. He goes, so is it a joke or not? I was like, you know what, you little bastard? I was like, you can keep going back through all of my little tweets and searching all my shit if you've got nothing better to do. I was like, but I'm looking at your crap right now just from the past week and a half, and you make the Kane rape jokes, you make this, you make this, you make this, and you want to yell at me on fucking Twitter because I said, I really think Jake Allen has seasonal depression, and that's why he is like this from this month to this month. And then he started giving me stats, and I was like, you know what, kid? Like, you can try. And then next thing you know, I have Darren Kimball and a couple of other former Blues players and stuff. Kelly Chase even backed me up on it, and he was just like, you realize who you're talking to, right? Like, she knows her crap. Like, she's being for real. And and then I tweeted at him, I was like, must suck when you're sitting here trying to tear a girl apart, and then these old freaking hockey players come up and back me up. Like, you might want to shut up,
And the
bud.
thing is, like, I don't think we ever presented it or you ever presented it as a
I never
joke.
have.
Like,
you guys know me though,
Yeah.
you know, and I think anybody that follows me on Twitter, and this person included, you know, like, I mean, I'm sorry, I caught a glimpse of a hot girl on your phone.
Yeah,
and
that's Britney Spears in
I
a
knew it
swimsuit.
was going to be Britney Spears, but
dude, bruh,
yeah, I
Fire
know she
though.
looks
I saw it the
fire.
other day,
She looks fire. This is our
I do terrible
our
things.
typical Britney Spears plug in our podcast. No, but like I have never like cut him down and like made fun of him and like compared him to anything or posted some weird meme that made fun of mental illness. I never would. But I just think it's funny that people will find anything that they can just to attack you on social media. And I was like, come to me when you know how to do this right.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I agree 100%. And I think anyone who would take what you've said and think that you were making light of mental illness is just looking for a reason to be pissy about something.
I know. And that's what I said. I go, buddy, you're just looking for a fight on Twitter.
Yeah.
And then he quoted my tweet and retweeted it. So I had a couple other little punks come at me and I was like, yeah, I don't care. And you're not cute enough for me to give a shit. So, and obviously your intelligence when it comes to hockey is lacking a little bit, and with the jokes,
right?
That are going around. You want to come at me because I said I really think he has seasonal pressure. I mean, I have never sugarcoated it when I've said it on this podcast or when I've said it on any of my own personal, private, public, social medias, whatever. Those are my thoughts.
Again, I agree.
People are weird.
That guy's looking for a reason to be butthurt.
Oh, I know. I told him to sit and twirl or go learn to skate or something, whatever.
I like it when they sit and twirl.
Yeah.
So the thing I was coming up with was Nate Schmidt's the one who got suspended due to they found a very, 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 very
what was it,
trace
1 in 0.009
Yeah, it was
million?
a very little amount, and then they apparently contested it. So did Vegas, and he came out with a very strong statement saying, "I would never cheat. I've only given supplements from from the team." What they found is basically finding a drop in
Olympic-sized swimming pool.
Yeah, Olympic-sized swimming pool. That's how much we basically the comparison.
An eye drop,
which sucks for the guy because apparently he seems like a stand-up guy. Shea Theodore is the one who they not re-signed. So basically the top two of the 3 top defensemen who logged over 20 minutes are not in camp right now.
How many games was he suspended? 27?
20.
20. Yeah. Okay.
It's a shame. I
believe him. That statement was pretty bold, man.
The one thing that I'll say, because we could go on for a half hour on this and no one cares, is when you're a professional athlete and you're going to take supplements or whatever it is, and you know that you're in a league that has performance policies and things like that.
Yeah.
I think that you have to go through a doctor, and anything that you're going to put in your body,
absolutely,
you need to take to a pharmacist and go, what is in this?
Yeah,
everything that's in.
And most players nowadays,
and can this trigger a positive test?
Isn't that kind of like how poppy seeds on a bagel can come up like marijuana on a tox screen?
Yeah, there's tons of stuff like that. Because not in hockey, but I know that there have been many athletes in many sports that have come down the same line. It's not unlike what the Cardinals went through with Mark McGuire years ago with that androstenedione.
It wasn't technically banned,
it wasn't banned, but there was stuff in that would trigger a positive test.
And what was that other supplement that a few people started to? Obviously, they were men because it might have been in the MLB, but I think it was in the NHL where a couple of guys during their urine test, it came up that they were going through menopause. They're men.
Yeah, there's a couple of weird things like that.
Yeah, but that's why
but if you're an athlete and you're playing in a league like that,
check, recheck, and check again.
Have someone who's board certified. You've got the money to afford resources that the normal people don't. I wouldn't take a Flintstones vitamin.
That's what I'm saying.
Before I had it checked for anything.
Hey, dude, this is what I take.
Nope.
I'm good on that, bro. I'm going to go to my doctor. Yeah.
So that's why I'm a little bullish on Vegas. Just not finishing the top. I think they'll be in the playoffs. I don't know where.
Third.
I don't think they're going to be a wild card. I think they'll be a top three team for sure.
I think it's going to be Nashville, Blues, Vegas.
Interesting. So let's go with, I'm just going down the list from last year. Anaheim. Really didn't do much in the offseason.
But didn't add or lose. I think
the only thing they really lost is Ryan Kessler does not seem like he's going to be coming back this year.
I think he's done.
Yeah, he's possibly done for a career due to
concussions.
I can't remember if it's concussion or a leg or knee. So anyway, he's hurt and can't come back.
I think that unfortunately,
and they're aging too. Their core is aging.
In this specific division this year, if you just stayed put the way they did, you're losing ground.
I see Anaheim being a wild card team this year.
I think they have enough to make the playoffs, but they're not going to be that team that's pushing for a division win with Vegas. No, not at all.
John Gibson, I think, was really good. He's
fine.
He's going to have to, if he stays healthy, he'll be the reason that they're going anywhere, in my opinion.
I agree.
Team that's loaded right now, San Jose Sharks.
Man, oh man!
Big trade.
Did they spend some money?
Big trade a couple weeks, couple days ago.
Finish below us in the Western.
Yeah, Eric Carlson goes there.
Kinda
so they
good.
have Burns and Carlson.
That does not suck.
Yes.
That is Pronger McInnes good.
Dude, their defense.
And then,
It's-
mind you, they have
It's
Vlasic.
gonna
Ridiculous.
Vlasic, and they have some other guys, too, that are pretty good.
Yep.
So they're going to be
Strong.
five favorites, and they've re-signed Evander Kane.
Which is a great deal.
Yeah, so they-
assuming that he
They
continues
lost
to play
out
the
on
way
John
he did.
Tavares, but they re-signed some of the younger players. So basically, they got a
Joe
good mix
Thornton's
of young
105
players.
years
Joe
old.
Thornton, yeah, Joe Thornton's come back for one more year. They re-signed Logan Couture to a contract as well. They have Pavelski, who's their captain, who is not under contract. So it's very interesting. I don't know
Hurdle?
if they can do Pavelski and Carlson at the end of next year. I have to look at their cap situation.
I don't know if they do, and I think I hitched
Mind
my
you, they
wagon to
dumped
Carlson.
Mikkel Bodeker in his bad contract to Ottawa in the Hoffman deal,
Yep.
and picked up another second-round pick out of it too,
Yeah.
which is amazing. So
I would
as much
say-
as the Blues, people talk about Blues. Doug
San Jose
Armstrong
had
is
the
good.
offseason
Doug
of-
Wilson
yeah.
has had a pretty damn good offseason too.
Oh, yeah. Hurdle's still there?
Hurdle, yep. Ninja
But he was
Hurdle.
hurt quite a bit, right?
He was hurt a lot last year, but
Yeah.
he still was on one of their top lines when he was
Yeah.
healthy. Ninja Hurdle. Anyway, let's see. San Jose, a super old team, but still good. The window is open now. Los Angeles Kings, best defense in the league last year by goals against average. Like
I think
a
you could shift
2.1.
that up to San Jose next year.
Yeah, you can say Jonathan Quick probably still doing well.
Yep.
They went out and signed Ilya Kovalchuk to
For
a big
all the
contract.
money.
Dude, yeah.
3 years at 6.25. They're going to be super old.
Yeah, man, and that's the thing. Like, I think you and I talked about the stat, maybe on the podcast, at least between the two of us, that they have. Is it 8 players or 9 players?
I think it's 8 players in like 2 years.
over the age of
34,
35.
making almost $50 million.
Yeah, it's
Holy balls. Are you
ridiculous.
serious?
That it is an old team.
Yes, I think it's in 2 years. I think it's in the 2020-2021 season where the contract is. They'll have 7 players over age 34 making over $50-something million.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
So basically, they're
That
in it
team
to
is
win
win
it
now.
Yeah, if they don't
and,
do it,
and it could they could.
Yeah, 'cause
it
they have-
depends on what the Govalchuk you get.
yeah, Kopitar
because
has to have another MVP like season.
I agree, and everyone wants to talk about the Olympics. And yeah, I mean Kovalchuk had a good Olympics, but he wasn't playing NHL talent.
Yeah.
Remember, you didn't
can't-
have
you can't compare
NHL
that.
players this
yeah,
year.
guys who used to be in the NHL.
I mean, you can put an NHL player go head to head, and then somebody. That's
Agreed.
No, you can't do that.
And the KHL is great.
Hey, Britney Spears is texting you.
I wish. I wish you were Snapchatting me. Hey,
How does this bikini look?
go better on the floor. But I think that the
Jason's
KHL
had
is
it with
good,
us today.
but the KHL ain't the NHL.
That's true, 100% true.
So I think that
Wait, you mean you can't compare apples to oranges?
I would say you can't compare apples to bruised apples.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just curious,
But these guys,
especially with other people's logic.
I mean, it could be phenomenal. It could be a complete dumpster fire.
See, that's what I was going to say. It's going to go.
It's one of two extremes. It's
That's
not
why
going
I
to be
said-
it was all right.
That's why I said my top 3 for the Western Conference. Between all
Yeah.
of it, like,
It's be tough.
yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, Los Angeles got that.
We'll have to try to get our boy Bobby on to talk about the Kings.
Yep. Next team up, the Calgary Flames. Made a big trade with Carolina, which we kind of talked about in the Pacific. They shook their team up a little bit.
Yep.
Dougie Hamilton got traded from there. They picked up Hampus Lindholm and Noah Hannafin in the trade.
It's fine.
Signed James Neal.
Upgrade.
So they're going for it. They
Got rid of Brower.
bought out Brower. So they're going for it.
Sorry you built that home up there, dude. For
Yeah.
what, 2 years?
Yeah. Mike Smith is their goalie, aging. That's it. They don't have much after that. Gillies, I believe, is their goalie.
Yep.
If their defense on paper, I always
Wait,
say
who's
like his
their other goalie?
they're Jonathan Gillies, I want to say.
Yeah? I don't know.
Giles.
Yeah.
On paper, their defense looks great. Like it just didn't play that way last year.
Well, that can be said about many teams, including the one that's in this city.
Yes. So yeah. So interesting. Calgary.
I beat the crap out of myself after our season ended.
It's interesting what they did, but I don't know if it's enough to shake it up to be in the playoffs.
I tend to agree with you.
Yeah. Edmondson didn't do anything, so brought in Kyle Brodziak.
Sure. Good for
Yeah.
you know what, good for
Kyle.
him,
He went
man.
home.
Yeah.
No,
Great
nothing
to go
against,
home and play.
nothing against Kyle Brodziak, but compared to when you're looking at
Agreed.
Kovalchuk,
But we're just saying when
Neal,
it comes to the
Stastny.
move that the team made.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, they still have the best player in the league, Connor McDavid. You can, and they got former Blue on that line. Ty Ratty is supposedly going to be the top right winger this year. Which
Hey.
I
is,
thought it's Stu, really?
You know what? Good luck to him. I don't wish to do ill will. It just didn't happen here.
yep.
I hope that, he finds his footprint somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
The guy's got talent.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yep, he
Just
can
wasn't
pull it off.
here.
It just wasn't.
Edmonton to me is one of those teams that I would say for the last decade just cannot figure out their ass from a hole in the ground.
And then
so
also-
many number one overall picks. And it seemed like 2 years ago they got it right, got into the playoffs, had a decent series against the Ducks, but the regression last year was insane. And I don't know what the problem is with that team because Connor McDavid is a generational player.
Exactly.
He's Crosby Gretzky
he
level
can
good.
play with anybody.
Yeah.
though, I feel
He's
like.
one of those dudes who makes the other players around him better.
Yep. So,
But and that's another thing, like you said, so many first round picks. Like, how the hell have you not gotten this right yet?
I know. Yeah. I mean, let's go back. It started with Taylor Hall,
yeah,
and then you had
Nuge.
the Nuge. Then you had Yakupov.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had
Dude, and what a shame that happened to him.
who am I forgetting?
Harvey was a top 10. If you want to say
Right,
that
yeah,
there.
Harvey was a top 10. But then you had there's somebody before McDavid who was a number one overall too. Wasn't there?
No, I think that's
Wasn't there a defenseman?
No, they didn't have any defensemen. They drafted some defensemen.
Who
but
am I
not that
thinking
high.
of? Who was their defenseman? Who maybe a top 5?
There's one out there. I can't think off the top of my head. Sorry.
Damn it!
We'll get it eventually.
I can't remember his name.
I'll look it
There
up
is a
while we're
defenseman.
talking.
I know there is.
I'll
So
look it up while
their
we're talking.
defense is lacking this year due to two things: one big injury, one contract negotiation. Darnell Nurse still sitting out due to a contract. Andre Sakara tore his Achilles yesterday, or
What?
not
That's a
yesterday, a
hard
couple
one.
weeks ago. So he's out 6 months at least. So
I didn't see that.
yeah, so they're hurting. So I expect them to be about the same as they did last year. Not at the playoffs. Rely on McDavid as much as possible.
Taylor Hall, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Neil Yakupov, Nathan McKinnon.
Nathan McKinnon he was number
Is that
one.
the one?
He was number one, but he was obviously he went to whatchamacallit.
Correct.
He went number two.
So that's the one you were thinking of, 2013.
There was another one. I thought there was a defenseman.
They never drafted. They always drafted forwards. That was their thing. They kept drafting forward after forward after forward.
Well, yeah.
More.
So anyway, they're not doing great. So we'll see how Edmonton goes.
Who's the guy who was Eberle?
Everly was top 10, I believe, or top 4, top 5, whatever.
Yeah.
So and they traded him, and they basically got nothing back. So let's see. We have a couple more teams left in our Pacific Division preview. So Vancouver
Flush him down the toilet.
didn't do much. Antoine Roussel, who's a piece of crap, and Jay Beagle both went there for a lot of money for weird 3 years and $4 million a piece
Yeah.
for those guys. That's crazy money for fourth line guys. Nothing.
The
hey,
only good
for you
thing-
guys to get that money.
The only good thing for Vancouver is that you can now take the Sedin money off your books.
Oh,
Yeah,
gosh.
Sedins are gone. They're just going to go with young guys and work on that. So
Yep.
good for them. Like I said, I expect them to finish last this year. Arizona got Galchenyuk.
Great pickup for them.
Technically, Marian Host's contract, and they also got Hinostroza was the other guy they picked up.
Yep. Who will never play a single game.
Oh, Hossa, yes. Let's see, where am I at? And they re-signed Hjalmarsson and Ekman Larson to big contracts.
Right.
So they basically re-up their defense. They're going to try to grow a little more and do better. I think Galchenyuk's going to help them out. I don't know if it's enough to get them in the playoffs, but I think they'll be better. But I think they'll be better than Edmonton. I got a feeling. I'll call that right now.
Scroll from there down and see if it's any of those guys.
I think it was
have-
Jordan Eberle.
Yeah.
It has the year right
Go
next
ahead.
to it.
So, Arizona. I think they'll be better, which is good. They
If they
need
could
it.
bring back all those other people,
Yeah, if they can,
that they're
every
paying.
contract they've picked up, they'd be
great.
great. Let's see. So Vegas, Anaheim, San Jose, Los Angeles, Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, Arizona. That's how they finished last year. So I'll go first on how they're finishing. I think San Jose is going to take it this year.
yeah.
I say Los Angeles is coming in number 2 with Vegas number 3. I see Anaheim probably getting that number 4 spot, and Calgary just missing the playoffs again. Edmonton is not. I don't see Edmonton getting that high, honestly. I see Arizona being right behind Calgary, not enough for a playoff spot, but right behind them. And then Edmonton and Vancouver finishing last. I say Vancouver just doesn't have enough.
I've got.
I say
Vegas.
Edmonton's my team. The defense just doesn't thrill me, man. And then Talbot, he had a career year, his first year there, and ever since then he's been okay. And until I see him perform like Jake Allen, perform consistently, and you're missing your top 2 defensemen.
Yeah.
I just don't have any faith.
I have Vegas, San Jose, the Kings, Anaheim, and everybody else finishes last at the same time.
I'm going San Jose, Vegas, LA with a big question mark, Edmonton, and then the rest.
Gotcha.
In
whatever order,
because it's a steep
Yeah,
cliff.
that's why I said the rest of them all finish last at the same time. Like it's
So Pacific, like I said, is going to be
and it's
a
so
lot
weird
harder
how
than it
you
used to
have
be.
those top teams, and then like the rest of them are just like
the West really
like
doesn't
what
have
are
like
they
a
doing?
kind of crap team. I think there'll be teams that are not great, but I think
Yeah.
they could still beat you on any given night. Type
Exactly.
thing.
Like
So-
these are teams where if I was a fan of any of the other ones that I didn't put in my top 4 just now, in this division, I would put my team against almost any Eastern Conference team.
If you're going to
Like-
pick on anyone in that division, it's going to be Vancouver.
Yeah, Vancouver's gonna be the
Yeah.
one to pick it. And honestly, I could see Edmonton being like Jekyll and Hyde. Like one night they could be like, "Oh my god, this team is fast and really great and whatever." Then you have another night where it's like, "Wow, this team is god awful."
Mm-hmm.
So interesting. So that's the Pacific Division preview. We'll get into the Central Division next. We'll do everything but the Blues. That's how we're going to do it. Then we'll do a Blues by themselves. We'll go in pretty deep with the Blues. So we'll do the Central Division next. And now the Central Division, where the hometown team, St. Louis Blues, reside.
Where all the good teams play.
As actually it is.
Where
So
the big boys play?
yeah, the big boys play.
Yeah.
Hint, hint. So we're going to roll through them. Everybody at the Blues, then we're going to do just the Blues one by itself. So we'll talk about those a little bit here, but not like in great detail. Top of
Suck it, suck it, suck it,
Yeah.
suck it, suck it.
So the top of the division is, and top of the technically West, is the Nashville Predators. So had a really good year last year. Really only minus one player. That's Mike Fisher. Technically another one, Austin Watson, because he beats women. So
Correct.
So he's out for 27 games, which is technically the third highest suspension ever handed out by the league, and the first highest off ice suspension. Because technically, Slava Voinov never got suspended for his thing. He decided
Really?
he decided to just get the F out and just because he was going to go to prison for that.
Oh, yeah.
So, like I said, didn't do much. Re-signed their players. Got Yuri Saros, their goalie in waiting, pretty much under contract. Pecorini is getting up there in age, but still doing well.
Doing great.
But he's very like. If you look at his goaltending, it's very interesting because he has a really, really good year, not great year. Really good year, not really good year.
Yeah.
He's very so. Last year's a really good year. So if we go by the law of averages, which he's been doing, this year won't be a great year.
Yeah.
Right.
Which Blues fans hope that's true.
Oh, trust me, my toes are crossed about it.
So Nashville, really good. A lot of people are picking these two teams to be pretty much the class of the division, is the Nashville Predators and the Winnipeg Jets.
Yep.
And then it's a kind of crapshoot. Some pick us, some pick Minnesota, some pick Colorado. Let's do Winnipeg. Winnipeg also didn't really add anybody. Re-signed Blake Wheeler to a contract, so he won't be a free agent next year. So he'll
Lost
be
Paul Stastny.
Lost Paul Stastny.
Well, they've been rebuilding for the last few years.
Yeah, they have, and they've made very good picks.
Yeah.
So they're
They did
they're
what
loaded.
Edmonton should have done.
Yeah.
So, like,
For
let's-
real. Yeah.
And they didn't even get top. The only top pick they really had was Patrick Laine.
Yeah.
And,
Who's been great.
and who's going to be? They need to re-sign
He's
him.
going to get paid next year.
Yeah, yeah. So he'll be RFA obviously, but he'll be eligible for a contract and he'll make a ton of money. So they got a lot of guys under contract for a long time. So this team is on the open window for a Stanley Cup now. So I expect them to be a really hard task for the Blues. Phrasing, I guess, on that one. Connor Hellebuck got re-signed to another contract too. Like I said, it's pretty much a lot of our division was locking up their core and not really adding too much. The Blues are really the only team to really kind of add people.
Yeah.
So which I think they needed to. So anyway, Winnipeg, really good. Anything to add to that, really, outside the top
No,
two?
I think that those two teams are rock solid.
Yeah, that's the thing is I think they're going to be really hard teams to face for the next couple of years.
They're going to be, I would say, the stiffest competition that the Blues are going to find.
We'll go phrasing.
Agreed.
So Minnesota's and then finished number 3 last year. I don't see them being good anymore.
No.
Nope.
And I sometimes some people like I'm going against them. Everybody's like, well, why? It's like Eric Stahl has been having a renaissance there, but like this is his last year.
Yeah.
They're up against the cap. You got the contract for Ryan Suter and Zach Parise eating up a ton of cap. That's coming now. That's the back end of that contract where everybody like when they praised them getting those deals years ago. This is the part
now they're
where
like, why are we still
This is the
in
back
this?
5 of those contracts.
where they're not where Parise was out for most of last year with a hip
Yep.
thing. Suter's still great, so I really can't say much about that. Ryan Suter's doing great. 30 minutes a night for him. I mean,
that's
still
a
really
lot.
great. Eventually, who knows if that catches up
That's
to him? But
gonna
he hasn't
catch
shown
up.
He hasn't shown him so far, so I can't really say it until I see it happen.
He's going to be the
Right.
next Jay Bomeister.
And then
See, that's what I was getting ready
when
to
he
say,
goes
but
down,
I didn't
it-
want to say it.
When he goes
Like,
down, he's going to go down
I was
hard.
going to say we are familiar with contracts like this because we're dealing with it.
yeah, and then what am I at now? Devin Dubnyk is the same thing with kind of Rene. I think he can be really, really good, or he can be really, really bad.
Yeah.
So what Devin Dubnyk you're going to get? I don't know.
That can be said about many teams in this division.
Yeah.
When it comes to goaltending.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you can watch him play one night and then he's fantastic, and you're like,
Yeah.
and then 2 nights later you're like, look at this clown in
yeah.
the crease. What's he doing?
There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that in the Central.
Yeah, so the Blues wound up. Blues. I'm looking at that. So next would be Colorado. They lost. They won against the Blues in the last game of the year. Probably like one of the best games of the year, not for the Blues fans, but a lot of people around the NHL ranked it as a top 5 game of the year just due to the kind of significance.
What was on the line?
Yeah. You get in the playoffs if you don't. They went out and acquired a couple of guys. Former Blue, Ian Cole.
Yep.
Philip Grubauer was in a trade along with Brooks Orpik, who was then promptly bought out. And then re-signed with Washington, which is interesting. So he's both a loss and an acquisition for Washington, which I
feel
forgot
like
to
his
add.
entire career he's just been bounced around by like really oddball teams.
He got overpaid a lot.
Yeah,
in-
Ian
in
Cole wanted
DC.
to make a lot of money. So, yeah, Brooks Orpik too. Correct. Let's see. Matt Calvert also went there.
Yeah.
Who's a guy I thought the Blues would be able to use as a kind of speedy third line guy, but the Blues did a lot of other stuff. So I think Colorado has a chance to still be a pretty decent team. I don't know. I'm one of those things where I think they could still make the playoffs with the Blues, but I think they're going to be a battle for the wild card.
Agreed.
I see Minnesota taking the team kind of taking a significant step back.
I agree.
So next will be the Blues, which we'll get into more detail about that, on how the Blues do later. So I figured we'll just save that. And we'll get into the last couple teams, which would be the Dallas Stars. Mind you, the best announcement for a contract
Dude,
ever.
that was amazing.
So we'll say that much.
Whoever did that, like, my hat's off to
That was
you
pretty
because
rad.
that was killer.
Yeah, so they Tyler Seguin is under contract now for 8 more years at $9.85, which is a lot of money. He's really good, though. I'll say that much. But they did an announcement, which we were kind of alluding to. If you look it up on Twitter, I know I retweeted it. Basically, they
it's
did
killer.
a Super Mario Brothers, and Tyler Seguin was Super Mario, and he went
And the 8-bit stuff.
yeah, and basically beat all the teams in the Central. And the final boss was the St. Louis Blues, which I thought was kind of cool, at least. And then they showed him, since he beat the last boss, they awarded him with a new contract. So that was a very cool way for them to say they've signed him. So props off to Dallas on that one. So outside of that, they brought it back from the KHL, Valerie.
Stay down to Dallas.
Yeah, Valerie Nikushin.
Who sort of an acquisition.
Yeah, so he wasn't there last year, and he was pretty decent there, and then had a falling out with one. It wasn't Hitchcock; it was somebody else, and I believe it was Dave Tippett was the coach then.
Sure.
So, not much there. They were in on the Erik Karlsson deal. Apparently, didn't happen. They're apparently one of the teams that were in on the John Tavares thing. So, very interesting.
This summer's been long.
Yeah.
Very long.
So
Gosh.
a lot of yeah, but a lot of different things that could have went Dallas's way. So could they turn it around? They still got Jason Spezza's deal there.
They could.
but I still think they're a very one-line team, kind of like how we were last year. I don't see them having much depth.
They are a one-line team, and all they did last year was trade one set of question marks at goaltending for another.
Yeah, like if Ben Bishop needs to stay healthy, we'll see if that happens. They wind up getting Anton Khudobin also, the kind of try to
backfill.
Yeah, because he was really good last year for Boston when Rask was out, so that's good that they fixed that. Hopefully, if Khudobin could do what he did in Boston, that's good for Dallas because then you can have two at least halfway decent goalies.
Yep.
So, and they don't have too much goaltending depth in the minors apparently. So, Dallas is there, and then our favorite line that we're going to have from now on. Me and Chris found another podcast we listened to.
Okay.
Hit it.
I don't have it. But yeah. So, wait, I'll have it now, and there you go.
There you go.
So,
thanks, Rafi.
Yeah. So, Ashley, I'll a bewildered look. We'll explain later.
Okay.
So that drop we used quite a bit this year.
I was going to get used a lot.
Yeah. So,
Oh my.
Chicago finally had their drop off.
Yeah.
After all the years being very good and stuff, and their core finally hit the wall.
Yep.
No Hossa all last year.
That they only have 3 Stanley Cups.
And Corey Crawford still not back yet. Skated for the first time the other day.
Boy, that's a weird thing, man.
So
Crow has left the building.
Yeah, apparently he had vertigo or concussion symptoms. Chicago did announce, which is very interesting. The only thing I want to bring up Chicago that is good, when they are going to have
they suck.
That too. When they do injuries, they're going to announce what the injury is. They're not going to say upper body or lower body. They said that our new policy is going to be, he has a concussion. He has a broken arm.
Interesting.
So
I
thought,
back in the day when they would do that.
Yeah, when they actually told you what injury instead of upper body.
I thought they stopped doing that because players would target.
Yeah.
That's
technically, I forgot what team and what general manager did that. I think it's a famous general manager. I'd have to look that up.
Yeah.
Describe that, and it's within the rules of saying that.
Players,
you can say upper body, so that's the way he described it, so they wouldn't target certain things.
Yeah, but
so,
I'm just saying,
so then every team caught on and did it. So now
Yeah.
Chicago's kind of trying to buck the trend and say, oh, we're going to say specific injuries. Like, hey, if he has a concussion, we're going to say concussion, or if he has a broken arm, or whatever they want to say.
So
props to Chicago next. That's actually nice to know.
I know, but then there are. I'm not trying to bash the league that we obviously all love, but I mean, as a player though, that's kind of scary because there are shiesty ass players out there that will come after that bad ankle or that concussion or that broken arm.
I agree. I agree with you.
Hasn't anybody seen Mighty Ducks?
That's true.
Come on.
It's true, man.
It's true. Adam Banks,
man. If you can,
Right?
you better be able to turn that stick over in your hand.
Yeah. So.
And Coach Bombay.
Phrasing?
Yeah. I'll take it. So. So. Where am I at now? So.
Always important to be able to turn your stick over in your hand.
Very true.
That's correct. So.
It's fundamentals.
Yes, it's the basics. You gotta get the basics down first. So, Central Division standings. So, last year,
watch out for an illegal curve.
Ooh, there you go. Nashville. There you go. I'll give it to you. Nashville, Winnipeg, Minnesota, Colorado, St. Louis, Dallas, Chicago. That's how it finished last year. I'll throw it to Chris to start.
I'm going to say that the top 2 stay the same.
Nashville, Winnipeg in that order?
Winnipeg first.
Yeah.
Winnipeg, Nashville. I'm going to say St. Louis and Colorado fight for 3-4. Minnesota 5, maybe 6. Dallas. It's going to go. There's going to be sets of battles. Your first battles for 1 and 2. That's Nashville, Winnipeg. Underneath that, St. Louis, Colorado. Underneath that, Minnesota, Dallas. Underneath that, Chicago. I in my mind, I'm screaming at myself for picking Chicago to be dead last again, but I just don't see where they've made that many improvements.
When everybody else has.
When everyone else has.
Yeah.
Cam Ward.
We're too beefed up
and
for that.
still dude, with due respect to Cam Ward is slightly younger than Joe Thornton, who's 105 years old. And unless Crawford gets the situation figured out, I don't see Cam Ward carrying that team to the playoffs.
Yeah, so it's Cam Ward, and I think Anton Forsberg is their backup right now.
God,
so
I think I'm right there with you.
that was kind of like in my
you
head.
said, each one
Yeah.
it can go either way.
Yep. I think there are tiers in the Central Division,
Yeah,
and
that's
I
kinda
think
what I
the
was
Blues
saying.
are in that
I
second
don't know.
tier.
I think that I'm going to have to second you. I think that I'm going to change my Blues from going to second, from going to third.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes the most sense though.
So-
Screw you, man.
I
Change
mean,
my
all
mind.
right.
Yeah. So I had similar to what you said. Like everything's like a 2 kind of scenario. Like
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but any hockey fan that could do this one easy, they're not paying attention.
now because it's I think Winnipeg and Nashville could easily be flip flopped. They're
Exactly.
very I like Winnipeg better this year.
I do too, but I mean,
But he's Nashville
Nashville's
doing it, so-
damn good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nashville's been on a high for.
St. Louis and Colorado, I believe that's kind of like where I'm at. I think they're not even, but as much as the Blues have done, which we'll talk about,
I
still think you
on,
just don't
on
know.
paper, St. Louis is better.
Yes. You
But-
just don't know how it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I think I'm similar to what you had. I have St. Louis number 3, Colorado number 4, getting one of the wild cards. Then I have Minnesota. Then I have Dallas in front of Minnesota. I see Minnesota was falling a lot this year. I see them aging and just finally them hitting the wall this year. Chicago is in the we're aging, we're not really rebuilding yet, but yet we need to rebuild stage. All our guys are hurt. And we have too much in cap, and so they're going to finish last. So, Ashley, what was yours officially?
I think her and I.
Chris said?
I'm
Okay.
literally dead on
Okay.
with Haas.
Just wanted to make sure on that one. So,
Man, but that's still like now I'm still thinking about it because I'm like, well,
It's going to be a really, really interesting year. I think it's going to be tight the whole way.
we're going to be nerve wracked this season. That's just how it's going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, we're already still shaken up with how drastically our teams just changed over the last season and a half. Not even
Yep.
a solid 2 seasons, but
yep, and
we'll get there.
We'll wrap it up there. So we'll get into our Blues preview next. So if you want to get a hold of us on Twitter at Blues Hockey NHL, Chris is at
Hossapalooza.
Ashley.
At Ashley Rains.
It's blueshockeypodcast.net. Also on Instagram now, Blues Hockey Podcast. Facebook, Blues Hockey Podcast as well. And I forgot to mention it on our Pacific Division preview. So, or it's not Pacific, excuse me, our Eastern Conference preview. Go buy our new shirt. It's pretty sweet. At glassbangers.com. Look for the Blues. You can type in Blues Hockey Podcast, St. Louis, whatever you want, and they show up. We'll be the top choice because that's how we are. And
the top choice.
so, pretty sweet shirt. It'll be very good to use for WWE night.
November 3rd.
November 3rd.
Against the Minnesota Wild.
So it'll be awesome. So we'll have ours there. I believe we'll be there.
Yep.
Okay. So we're going to try that, and we're going to try to meet as many people we can that night as well.
Wear your shirt.
Yeah. And when we get close to that day, we'll talk about some stuff and meeting up that night and do
Figure
some
out
other
a
stuff.
party closer to the
Yep.
date.
When we get close to that date, we'll figure some stuff out. 'Cause it's a Saturday night, which is awesome as well. So that, and that.
Goodbye.
So we're good to go. We'll talk to you guys later.
Gonna take